The narcissist is a person not just that has these characteristics, but it's the core issue is there's this deep shame due to trauma that they're inferior, not good enough, not lovable. And so because of that, they have shut down all kinds of internal systems that make us human and that make it possible to have healthy relationships. But then they try to compensate. So they have all this deep shame, but instead of facing it, they deny it. And instead of finding healing internally, they try to solve it externally by creating an image, by getting others to validate them, to adore them, by feeling superior to others, by putting others down. All of their attempts to solve or heal their core issue appear to work to them, but they don't actually work. They create this ongoing emptiness inside. And that is so critical in understanding the narcissist, is they are working nonstop to try to feel better about themselves by having others feel better or good about them. But it doesn't solve the problem. It creates a deepening, ongoing black hole that is never satisfied. And so when they come into relationships, they are not capable of a healthy relationship, but they kind of have enough teaching about you need love, you need to kind of have this certain behavior, and so they try to do it. And so we saw that there's 3 stages basically in a narcissist relationship. They start out with love bombing, and we looked at that last time and just saw that they're doing all the loving actions, but they're not capable of connection or love. And so that then leads to the devaluation stage, which then leads to the discard stage. So what I want to look at today is the devaluation stage, or another way to say that is the mask begins to slip. So I think it's important to see that the mask doesn't begin to slip until the narcissist feels that they kind of have you. So the love bombing was not love. It was designed to wear down your defenses, get you to trust them, get you to believe that you were loved by them so that they could begin to control you. It was drawing you into their web. It was a form of manipulation. And so once they feel that they have you, they got you so that that's either they're engaged to you, they're married, they've moved in with you, they've hired you, they've got you pregnant, or some other hierarchical role that they feel now that they're superior to you, they have some control over you. So then they don't need to keep up the front as much. The mask begins to slip. And this is such a critical thing to understand, because what you begin now is to see who they really are. And so if you begin to think of it in this way, that they've gone into a relationship with you, all this love bombing, but it hasn't really satisfied them. You've adored them, you give them love, you give them all kinds of sex, but they haven't healed their deep shame. So deep down, they're not satisfied. So out of that frustration, discontent, they now let some of their true character out. And what is that? I'm not satisfied. I need to feel superior to others. So that means I need to put you down. I need to break you down. I need to find other people who will satisfy me by validating me. And so that's what begins to happen in this devaluing stage, is I'm going to build myself up by tearing you down, by breaking you down, so that I feel superior to you at all times, that I feel in control of you. That's what's happening in this stage. Part of what's also happening in this devaluing stage is the mask slips, but they're also testing how much will you tolerate? How much will you let them away with? So if the mask slips a little bit, their true character comes out, and you kind of forgive them, let them, oh yeah, no big deal. Then they go, whew, okay, I can get away with that. Now I can let the mask slip a little bit more and see what else I can get away with. So it's a testing of your boundaries to see, will you walk away from me? Where will you draw your line in the sand? Will you call a red flag, or will you keep minimizing it, denying it, letting me away with it? Because if you will, I will just keep on going until you see the full extent of my character. And so it really plays on the person's own shame, their own fear of abandonment, their own desire to be loved, that they're willing to put up with abuse in order to get a few crumbs of love. So that's part of what the narcissist is testing at this time. It can get to the point where it's almost like a cat with a mouse. The cat's in control. The mouse now is just a toy, a game, and they're going to paw it, they're going to play with it, they're going to be cruel to it, because they're in total control now. The mouse can't get away. They don't care about the mouse. They just want to exert their power. And so that is all part of what is going on in this devalue stage. So what I want you to realize, if you're the victim of this, is that now you are in a complex trauma world. You are walking on eggshells. You don't want to set them off. You don't want them to go to cruelty, to lashing out at you, to threatening you, to putting you down, to being angry. And so you walk on eggshells, trying to keep them happy, trying not to trigger them in any way. And that's complex trauma. But more is happening here. Because of shame in both parties, the narcissist and the victim, both have a fear of abandonment. And so there's this devaluation happening. You threaten to leave, or they threaten to leave because you're such a piece of dirt, whatever. But both are afraid of being abandoned. And so they go to devaluing, then there's a big conflict, then there's a threat to leave, there's a leaving, all of that. But then they try to get back together, and they try to go back to the love bombing stage. So a cycle often begins to happen within the relationship where there's an explosion, then there's a love bombing, tension builds, devaluing happens, then there's another explosion, love bombing. And that begins to be the normal characteristic of these types of relationships. The conflict was never properly resolved. Healthy relationship dynamics never took place. It was all dependent on the love bombing and then the suppressing of all the tension and the problems, the denial, until it couldn't be handled anymore. So what I want to just focus on today is, what methods does a narcissist use to devalue you, to put you down? And what I want to say up front is, this has absolutely nothing to do with you. What they say and do doesn't tell the truth about you. I need to say that because for many people, they are afraid it is the truth about them. They're believing the narcissist, but it is not the truth about you. It's all about the narcissist needing to feel superior and therefore distorting things, telling lies, not accepting responsibility, blaming, all of that in order to feel superior, and you are the victim of their own broken, unhealed wounds. So the first method is they'll withdraw affection from you. So all of a sudden they become cold, distant, indifferent after you're used to them being affectionate. And so all of a sudden, is it me? Have I done something wrong? That's what they want you to think. So they use affection now as a reward if you do what they want, or as a punishment if you don't do what they want. They're training you like a dog that you are going to respond to your desire for them to show affection to you. So you're going to do what they want in order to get affection. They will use the silent treatment and pouting to manipulate you to, I'm going to do what you want so you will love me again. So you will stop withholding your affection from me. The next thing that they do is just get ready for very subtle until it becomes almost overt put downs and criticism. So in the love bombing stage, they say nothing but positives about you. You're the most wonderful person in the world. They validate every positive quality about you. Now, they start to put you down. They take shots at you. They make jokes about you at your expense sarcastically. So they're using humor as a way to put you down. They give you backhanded compliments. You look good for your age. So it sounds like a compliment, but it's really a shot. And then they compare you to others, and you always come out on the negative end. They will start flirting with others in front of you as a way of saying, see, you're not that hot. I could have whatever person I wanted. There's a lot better people than you. Or they will one-up you in front of others. So you tell a story, then they got to tell a better story so that they look better than you do in front of others. And then they start just hints, little shots, put downs about your weight, about your intelligence, about your sexual performance, about how you clean the house, about how you cook, on and on and on. Every quality about you that you have any insecurity about, they will start to chip away at it. Then they will have increased bouts of rage, sometimes with abuse. Often just starts with verbal abuse, but it can go emotional abuse, even physical, sexual, financial abuse. So they become moody, antagonistic. It's just like doesn't matter what you say, they pick a fight and lash out at you about that. They kind of engage in giving you ultimatums, blow up, walk out on you. And then it's like they start to find fault with everything that you do. Everything you do seems to annoy them. And so they're just annoyed with you, irritated with you all the time. And that can have eruptions of anger outbursts. So we're going to get a wee bit overlap now, but I just want to highlight some stuff. So that next is hot and cold behavior. So they alternate between praise and cruelty. And part of that is to keep you off balance. Part of that is to manipulate you. So they're kind to you when they're trying to manipulate you to do what they want, or they're cruel to you to throw you off balance to get you to want to please them. That way they can manipulate you. There's random mood swings. And so what you begin to find is you used to be able to kind of work for their approval in a predictable way, but now it's not as predictable because of their mood swings. So you got to work harder for their approval. And what I want you to understand is all of this is creating a trauma bond. So a trauma bond is where you have this bond, a connection to an abusive person. And there's the lows of that where they're cruel and abusive, but then there's the highs where you somehow earn their approval and you get a rush out of that. And now every time they're cruel to you, that just sets off the addiction in you that I want to earn their approval because it feels so good. We're back in love. And so that is what is being developed here in this part of the devaluing stage. And then what happens if you do anything to trigger them? So they can be being super nice one day, but you do something really small, but it triggers them. All of a sudden they overreact. All of a sudden they scream, they blame you for everything. They take shots at you. They put you down. They say awful things to you. That hot, cold is what I'm talking about. And then they use triangulation. And that is where now they involve other people. So they bring ex-partners into the dynamic, your friends, family, even strangers, to say, well, we're a little bit concerned about you, and it's based on what your narcissist partners told them about you. So now he's recruiting support to believe his or her lies in order to put you down. So they're trying to turn your friends and families against you, trying to challenge their loyalty, their positive outlook on you, get them to be suspicious of you, to begin to doubt you, to begin to maybe suspect negative in you. And it's all to further their own agenda. And then with that triangulation, they do this flirting now with others. And they mention, did you notice this person? Wow, they got some really positive qualities. And again, they're trying to spark insecurity and jealousy in you, make you try harder to earn their approval. All of that is part of their game. So they're creating competition, and that is to get you more motivated to please them. Then projection. They now accuse you of the very things that they're doing. So they accuse you of cheating, meanwhile they're cheating. They accuse you of lying, well, they're lying. They accuse you of being selfish, but they're being selfish. They accuse you of being a narcissist when they're the narcissist. So they're shifting the blame for their behavior onto you, but they do it in a way that you begin to doubt yourself and wonder, maybe they're right. Maybe I am this way. So what I want you to understand is more and more their talk becomes characterized by lies and the distortion of facts. They might have little pieces of the truth in there, but it is distorted. Everything that comes out of their mouth becomes not true, or there's a hidden agenda behind it. The next thing they do is begin to try to micromanage you and control you. So they start to criticize your choices, your appearance, your friends, how you spend your time, how you spend your money. They try to control the use of money, who you can see, go through your phone, all of those different things. So they're slowly restricting your independence. They're slowly shrinking your world so that they are the only relationship you have in that world. They're making you feel that you can't make any good choices on your own, that you need them to be your parent, to make your choices for you. They are creating greater shame in you to increase their power. They are cutting you off from all healthy connections to make themselves the only connection in an unhealthy way. And then there's a lot of blame shifting and scapegoating. So it's obvious that there's more and more conflict in the relationship, more and more problems. So now they begin to make you the problem in the relationship. And if they're upset, it's your fault. They'll get angry at you frequently and blame you that they're angry. You made them angry. So they're playing the victim, and you're the person that's causing all the problems. But the problem is you're the true victim. And now you begin to question yourself. Is it me? Am I the problem? Am I making too big a deal out of things? Am I selfish? And so you get drawn in to keep apologizing, to keep trying harder. And that's exactly what they want, because now they have you doubting themselves. This is part of the gaslighting process that is happening. And so that leads to this greater erosion of confidence. They undermine your accomplishments, minimize your achievements, question your abilities, find fault with everything you do, so that you gradually are losing confidence. So what you can see is through this gaslighting process, they are tearing you down so that your shame is getting bigger and deeper. And now it is getting to the point where you feel like a total failure, totally useless, totally helpless without them. That is how they gain the ultimate in power over you. And they are also creating in you a desire to prove your worth. And so you're going to try even harder and harder to do what they want. So throughout this process, there's more and more of an emotional withholding. Now, it's important to understand that a narcissist has never been able to have secure attachment, healthy connection with anybody. They are emotionally unavailable people. But in the love bombing, they act like they're emotionally available, but they're really not. But now that comes out more and more. And so now it goes even into they refuse to communicate with you about stuff, honestly. If they communicate, it's to manipulate you. It's to play games in your head and gain power over you. They now use words not to communicate honestly, but to manipulate. Now they withhold approval, empathy, intimacy, and they leave you starved for connection. And that, because they've cut off everybody else in your life, strengthens the trauma bond. Now you want to connect back with them. And you think, if I only try hard enough, if I only be what they want me to be, we can connect again like we were in the love bombing stage. And again, it's a cruel form of manipulation. And the ultimate in this emotional withholding is you're not meeting my needs. You're just not there for me. I think maybe I'm going to start having to look for somebody else. And they put that threat into your mind. So hopefully you see that all of this is one big gaslighting maneuver. What they say, what they do, how they treat you, the shots, the withholding of love and affection, not being there for you, the projection, the scapegoating, the blaming, they're wearing you down, getting you to doubt yourself, getting you to doubt your perception, getting you to doubt your gut, getting you to doubt your thinking, your abilities. It is a total dismantling of you, a tearing down of you, so that you doubt yourself 100% and give them 100% control. Now, I need to say it's usually pointless to confront a narcissist and try to prove to them with facts that you are worthwhile, that you love them, that all of those things. They're not interested in facts. That is not the issue. They're not interested in looking at their bad behavior. That is not the issue. They are only interested in putting you down, and they will use every lie and distortion possible without any conscience in order to do that. And so to try to argue with them rationally is pointless. They're going to take what you say, twist it, and try to use it against you. And all of this devaluation stage, as the mask slips, some have called death by 1,000 cuts. Because as they gain more control, they get more cruel, they get more devaluing of you. It's paper cut, paper cut, paper cut, paper cut. Gradually, it's happening. So what is happening? Beyond that, they're breaking down your self-esteem. They're creating more and more shame. They're destabilizing your reality, your perception of what's real. They're making you dependent on the few crumbs they give you. That's the trauma bond. So all of that is the game in the devaluation. And it's setting it all up for the final stage, which we'll get to next time. So what I want you to understand is, because the narcissist is not willing to look at themselves honestly in the depths of their own shame and find healing within, they're trying to do it on the outside, and all these external mirrors and echoes and the control and feeling superior through their image, they're always running from themselves, and it takes a ton of energy to manage this external world. And they get tired of it. And that's why the mask begins to slip. It's impossible for them to keep it up. And as it slips more and more with you, they just get tired of even trying to get back together, trying to go through this cycle, and it's time to move on. And they can move on without any care at all. So if you're in this stage in a relationship with a narcissist, I hope this helps you, but I hope you will get help. I hope you will reach out to a therapist who understands this and begin to work on the damage that has been done.